guys, I'm Annie. It has been a while since I did a bookshelf tour, and there's a couple of things that have changed since I last did a bookshelf tour. Not only has my room changed around, I'm pretty sure like at least twice, if not 3 times, but I've also unhauled a couple of books. I've also bought a load of books. Let's just go through everything. I've got the one bookshelf over here, which you will find very soon that I definitely need another one. It is looking a little bit cramped up in there. We also have the TBR cart. This is my active TBR at the top. This is both May and June because I didn't do a May wrap up, so I've kept May up here as well. But I will just run through those books super quick, but I won't tell you guys what I think about them yet. If you want to know everything that I think about these books, then do subscribe and hit the notification bell because that video is coming soon. And we also have the newest addition to my library, which is my Kindle. I have a whole load of books on here that I like downloaded forever and a day ago, have literally never read, but we'll just go through some of like the most important ones. So in the interest of not making this video like literally 5 hours long, let's just get started. So we've got a couple of epic fantasies over here. Honestly, these are my husband's books, and I've got a couple of others right stacked up on the very top because he's tall and he can reach and I can't. I've also got my edit copies of my own book, From Feathers to Stars, here. Like, I absolutely destroyed this book. I actually also cut pages out of this copy to do a setup for my bullet journal, which was so much fun, and I almost nearly burnt my fingers off while trying to burn the pages because I'd painted them and I totally forgot the paint was flammable. If you're interested in that, I will link it in the description box down below. But I have 2 copies for edits. I've then got 2 books all about Greek myths. If you've been here for a little while, you know that I absolutely love Greek mythology, and if there is something coming out that has Greek mythology in it, I'm 100% there. I absolutely love it. I've read it a couple of times, I think. I don't think I've like read it fully from front to back, but I've read like a couple of bits and pieces from both book 1 and book 2. And I really love just like some of the art in here is amazing, and I just like really love these versions of the myths. But there's all sorts of different bits and pieces in here, and then like it's also got all sorts of like reference material as well. So it's not like a fun read, it's like a I need to remember something and figure something out kind of read. But this was so useful to me when I was back in school doing Greek mythology and classics and everything. This was like my Bible. So I've also got my original cover copies of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This beautiful thing. Now, the only reason why I bought second copies of the entire series, which we'll get to in a minute, is because the paperbacks that I've got are literally they're falling apart, and I am so scared of them actually falling apart. I was like, I'm in the middle of a reread and I don't want these to disintegrate, so we need to pick up the new edition copies, so we'll get to those in a little bit. Then there's a couple more of Nate's books and some more like epic fantasy. We've also got Brandon Sanderson over here. It's something that I really want to read, and I really want to get into Brandon Sanderson, but honestly it's like so intimidating, so I kind of leave it up here out the way where I don't have to think about how intimidating it is. And maybe one day I might eventually get around to reading it, but today is not that day, so we don't need to discuss that right now. Then I have my little stack of goodies. So this has got like all my post-it notes, all of my bookmarks, all of my tabbing supplies, as well as a whole load of stickers, which I just got to go into my Kindle. This is one of the most accessed things on the shelf in terms of like knackage. Honestly, I live for this. But hiding behind that, we do have some more books. I've literally had to lay these down because I'm running out of space. Like, this is what I mean. I'm literally running out of space. Honestly, these stacks are a mess. I'm not even gonna lie to you. We've got Binding 13, a YA technically, but it's like, it's got a lot of heavy topics in it. So I'm like, I personally wouldn't classify this as YA. I would classify this more as an adult book just because of the topics that are in it. It is chunky. If you threw this at someone, like, they would get seriously injured. I really, really love this book. I thought it was such a good time. I've got the next one, Keeping 13, on my TBR cards. We will come to that a little bit later. But then in this stack, we've got Lady Smoke, which is book 2 of the Ash Princess trilogy. A friend of mine has got book 1, and I've got book 3 over there on the TBR cart. So everything's a little bit of a mess. Everything's all over the place. We've got Children of Virtue and Vengeance, which book 1 of that is on the cart. That is a middle grade. Then we've got A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Book 1 is out on loan to my mother. Got X's and O's and Set on You by Amy Lee, which is an adult romance. So it doesn't fit the rest of this stack at all. But I leave it there because I don't really have anywhere else to put it, okay? But then we've got my little Ali Hazelwood tribute over here. This is not fully complete. I really need to pick up all the ones that I don't currently have. A couple more YAs. House of Salt and Stories is a really amazing book. If you haven't read that, I really, really love it. And I know there is a second one out. I don't know why I don't have it, apart from I haven't actually seen it in the shops, so I haven't got that far. Now I realise these are in the wrong order, okay? Because Ariadne comes first before Electra and then Atalanta. Now I did originally have a special edition copy of this in hardback. I don't really buy special editions very often. I generally like to read something first before I decide if I am gonna buy a special edition. So normally when I do, it's like really difficult to buy a special edition or buy an exclusive edition because normally they come out alongside the first publish of the regular edition. But I had the special edition of this because it was a gift and Nova decided to eat it because it was white and it was beautiful and it was stunning and it was signed and I was so excited to read it. And I put it on, like this was before we had this bookcase. Books were just kind of like everywhere, which is kind of my fault. But I left it just like on the side and he was like, I want to learn to read and that looks kind of tasty. So he decided to try and read Ariadne. It didn't go very well. It was missing like the first like 15 pages and both sides of the hardcover. So unfortunately I am mix and matching a little bit here. But we ended up reading Ariadne and Electra for book club and absolutely loved them. I am waiting for the rest of the guys to get ready to read Atalanta and I'm literally holding out for that, but I'm so excited because it's the one bit of mythology that I just like don't know the same as the others. And then we've got my Madeline Miller books. Now this is what I mean. I feel like I just said I don't buy special editions. And then I have this and I'm so excited to have got this. I read The Song of Achilles like not even particularly long ago, but at the same time I feel like I don't really remember it. So I'm like, oh, what a shame, I'll just have to read it again. But I don't know when because there's so many new things coming out and there's so many new things that I'm like, I don't have time for rereads at the moment. So I have no idea when I'm gonna read this. But I have this beautiful edition. We've got Spin the Dawn, book 2 is on the cart, and then we've got the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. The newest one, Gold, I think has been out in hardback, and I'm waiting for my paperback delivery to arrive. So that's gonna go straight onto the cart, which is good because I have no more space on this shelf. So I don't know what I'm gonna do once I start finishing stuff on the cart and it needs to go back on the shelf because I have no space. But this is an amazing series. I absolutely love it. I remember reading like book 1 forever and a day ago and then just straight away I had book 2 and 3 already on hand and I literally straight away was like, I need to read book 2, book 3. I was literally gasping for book 4 and I have been like very impatiently waiting for book 5 and I think it's due to get delivered in like a few days at this point of recording, so I'm like so excited for it to get here. I cannot wait to have it in my hands and I'm pretty much going to be reading it like straight away because this is an amazing romantasy series. And I would call it a romantasy series because like the first one is definitely more fantasy. As you get into the series, it like really heavily focuses on the romance. It's just a good time. I have a wonderful time. It's just, I don't know how to describe this series without like giving the whole game away, but it's a King Midas retelling, in case that wasn't obvious by all of the Goldie kind of synonyms. It's a good time. Definitely check that out if you haven't. We love it. Okay, so moving down another shelf, we've got Lauren Asher over here. I'm probably not gonna buy too many more of her books in physical copy because she's now posting everything on Kindle Unlimited, and that is just like so much easier for me. And as I've said at least 15 times, I ain't got any space. So I try to use my Kindle as much as I can. We also have Pathfinder core rulebook stashed away back here, out of sight, out of mind, because we play Pathfinder D&D like every week, and it's really nice and easy to have the rulebook to hand rather than like looking at it online all the time. But it's a bit of an awkward size. Like it doesn't really fit and it's really irritating, but I have nowhere else for it to live. Then we've got my little Percy Jackson section right here. So this is what I mean. So I bought the first set again so that I didn't have to like read my poor old copies that are like slowly dying because I really don't want to damage them because they're like so precious to me at this point. And then we've got the Heroes of Olympus series, which is technically a reread, but these are new editions because I previously read them on a Kindle, which is now dead. and I don't have the Amazon account that it's linked to anymore. What a shame, I had to go shopping. Then we've got the Trials of the Gods, which is technically Percy Jackson and the Olympians #7, because it kind of carries on from that, but it's quite a far way in the future. It technically comes after Heroes of Olympus, but before Trials of Apollo. I'm still like trying to kind of work out where it really sits in my head. It's kind of around there somewhere, but I did include this in a reading vlog, which I will link for you down below. And then obviously we've got the Trials of Apollo series. Now again, I have a bit of a mismatch. Some things are just unavoidable. I originally had book 1 and book 2 when they first came out, and I remember reading book 1. Not that I can remember what was in book 1. So it is on the reread list, but I think I got like partway through book 2. But then I have been trying really hard to find the rest of the series, and I have finally managed to get book 5 recently because my Waterstones has like not had it in stock at all, and I haven't been able to order it online. That has been a nightmare to find, but I finally have the whole series. I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't really care if it's a mismatch. I'm just happy that I got hold of it. And then we've also got The Sun and the Star, which is Nico and Will's book, which falls after the Trials of Apollo series, although I've already read that and I haven't read the Trials of Apollo series. I don't feel like there was any like huge spoilers. There was nothing that made me go, oh my god, when the hell did that happen? I kind of didn't really remember the Heroes of Olympus series, so I was like, okay, there's like details in here that were probably in that I don't really remember, and I'm not too fussed because I'm gonna read it all regardless. And then I've got my couple of Penguin cloth-bound classics, which are only Greek and Roman classics. So we've got the Odyssey and the Iliad by Homer. We've got the Aeneid by Virgil. And then we've got Metamorphoses by Ovid. Now this is a really chunky one, but these are so stunning, and they are definitely not a Sunday afternoon read, as I call them. And I remember studying these 3, the Iliad, the Odyssey, and the Aeneid in school, and I got the special editions like literally forever and a day ago, and I absolutely love them. And again, they're on my list to reread, but I don't know when I'm gonna have the time to do this. I love the way that I set myself these like challenges or whatever, and I have no idea when this is gonna happen. And I feel like that explains my entire life, because I feel like I don't know what's going on at all. Alright, we are now sitting on the floor to do these last few shelves. So we have the SJM Shrine. Yes, I know I'm missing ACOTAR. Yes, it is on loan to my friend. Yes, she still has not read it. Honestly, I can't even tell you how long this book has been out on loan. She is really slow at reading. And honestly, I haven't seen her in ages, so she's probably finished it and waiting to give it back to me, but I just haven't seen her, so I haven't managed to get it back. But that is out on loan, so that is literally the only space I have, but that's because I'm specifically saving a space for it. So we've got Throne of Glass, we've got ACOTAR, Crescent City, and then we've got Fourth Wing. Currently, we've only got 2 because that's all that's like literally out at the moment, but obviously I have the special edition. Again, I don't buy special editions, but I have this one, mostly because Fourth Wing is like my current addiction. This is something I'm actually gonna get a chance to reread because the new one comes out in January. So at the end of the year, my December wrap up, I can like literally guarantee I'm gonna have both of these in my December wrap up, because I'm not going into the new year not like fully remembering every single tiny detail. I am so excited. I actually like, I can't even describe how excited I am, because it's just like, if you love it, you love it, and if you don't, then like, I'm sorry, I can't relate to you. We've also got the Hurricane Wars tucked back here because it's also one of very few hardbacks that I own, so I'm like, we'll just tuck that away back there. I can't remember when book 2 is coming out for this, but I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw it had a pink cover, which I'm really excited for, because let me tell you, the hardcover of this, like this is a standard edition copy, okay? This is not a special edition, but let me tell you, she looks like a special edition. Look at this foiling, like this is so stunning. I even love the dust jacket, and my biggest issue with hardbacks is that like nearly always boring and black and solid colors, and they're just like kind of rubbish. This is stunning. I love her and I love the story, and I really can't wait for the second one. Moving down another shelf, we have the mop-up of everything Rick Riordan. So we've got the Kane Chronicles, we've got Magnus Chase, and then we've got Percy Jackson the Greek Heroes, Percy Jackson the Greek Gods. I've read the Magnus Chase series, I haven't actually read the Kane Chronicles. I've got so much Rick Riordan that I need to read. Then we just got like, again, a random assortment of various things. We've got like Raiders of the Lost Heart, Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Inheritance Game, Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. We've got a Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch over here. I can't tell you why they're... Let's move that. Well, I just found a space by organising, so that's always nice. 2 of the Red Queen books down here by Victoria Aveyard. Lost Apothecary, Belladonna, Roommate's a Vampire. All amazing, amazing romance-based books that I really, really love. Quick shuffle. Got Neon Gods. I've been buddy reading the rest of this series with my friend, and her way of trying to get me to read them on her pace is by lending me her books, because then I feel really guilty that I have them. So I've never actually bought anything past book 1. I've just been borrowing her copies. So we've got the next one from Hannah Grace coming out soon. I don't know what the series is called. I really didn't enjoy Wildfire that much, honestly, which is kind of sad. I really wanted to love it. It just really missed the mark for me. But I'm excited for the next one because I think we're going back to the university campus. So we're kind of going back to that and like being involved with the hockey again, which is like kind of what I loved about Icebreaker, was like getting really involved and like being on campus and this, that and the other. So I think that's kind of mostly why Wildfire missed the mark for me, was it was like completely separate because it was on summer break and at some camp, and like it's not really my kind of vibe. A couple of Leigh Bardugo books over here. I've got a few more on the card. We've got Travis Baldry here. I currently only have the dust jacket for this because my husband's actually reading this one at the moment. And who reads books with the dust jacket on? That's just weird. The Witches of Bardo, which I bought, I feel like forever and a day ago, and I've literally never looked at it twice. This probably needs to come up on my TBR. I feel like I gotta practically lay down on the floor to get to the shelf. This is basically the overflow. This is the stuff that I don't really look at because it's so awkward to get down here, and this spot where I'm at normally has ghost bed, so I'm rarely ever down here because I will get licked to death. Clytemnestra by Cosenza Costati, and she's got another book coming out later this year, which I'm really, really excited for because I really, really loved her take on Clytemnestra. Absolutely amazing. I can't remember when I spoke about it. There's a reading vlog or like a wrap up or something. I'll link that down in the description below. Psyche and Eros, Bridgerton, Cassandra Clare, a few more Elle Kennedys over here. Oh, I'm like out of breath, you guys, honestly. I'm out of breath. So we got some like Realmbreaker, some random bits and pieces. Elena Armas is down here. Not really meant to be an overflow, but I ran out of space elsewhere. And then we've got some Elise Covert, which this and this are omnibuses. So there's 5 books in this. Like this would actually genuinely hurt someone if you threw this at them. And I'm like partway through the last book, so there's like so little bit left, and I can't remember when I put this down, but I can't fit it on the TBR card. Like it literally will not fit. I'm convinced that if I put this on the TBR card, like the whole thing would just collapse. Like this is so heavy, and it is like a legitimate workout to like hold this thing. Plus I think most of Elise Cover's stuff is now on KU anyway, so I'm probably gonna end up like finishing that one on KU at some point rather than picking up that massive behemoth of a book, because it's like an actual workout. All right, let's do top shelf of the cart. So like I said, this is my active TBR that I have been reading through May and June. So I'm just literally gonna run through it super duper quick just to give you guys a bit of a taste as to what I've been reading. But like I said, if you want to watch the wrap up, do subscribe and ring the notification bell so you know when that video goes live. But just like on the front here, we've got Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, Stolen Air, Queen of Myth and Monsters, City of Bones, Hate Mail and the Catch are still to be read. I haven't yet finished, I haven't even started them, let alone finished them, but I am super excited for these 2 books. And then my current read is Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan, and I am getting my way through this. I am really, really loving this. This is such a vibe. I'm really here for it. We've got the other 3 books from my sports romance reading vlog. You guys, I'm literally out of breath, but we've got Keeping 13 back here. We've got my 2 blind dates for the book. If you saw that vlog, you know how that went. If you didn't see that vlog, I'll link it down below. I did tab up Law of Attraction. With that, I don't really tab books too much anymore. I kind of don't really know if I want to go back to tabbing books. I kind of like it sometimes, but then there's sometimes I'm like, I just want to read this book at like the fastest speed humanly possible, so I don't want to tab because I know it really slows me down, and I'm like, sometimes I just don't want to think, I just want to read, okay? We've also got Off Track by Isha Patel. I really, really love this. Was a really, really good F1 romance. I have read the F1 series by Lauren Asher. I can't remember what the series is called. That was absolutely astounding, and frankly the best set of F1 books that I've ever read. We've got Butcher and Blackbird and Filthy Rich Vampire. I've got the second one of Butcher and Blackbird now, which we'll come to in a second. And then I read the second one of these on Kindle, and I'm probably going to finish the rest of the series on Kindle, in all honesty. Those were really, really good reads as well. And then we've got Funny Story by Emily Henry and Feybound back here. Feybound is still on the TBR. I have not read that one yet. Was that not the actual fastest you've ever seen anyone go through an entire TBR for 2 months? Tell me it's not. I won't believe you. But under here we've got The Bookshop and The Barbarian, which is something that I bought ages ago for my husband, but he's never read it, so I'm like, thank you very much, I will have that and I will read it because I'm here for cozy vibes. We've got Leather and Lark, which is book 2 after Butcher and Blackbird. I'm so excited for this one. Soulmate Equation that I picked up secondhand. We've got a couple of sort of like romantasy type things. So we've got Hex Education. This Spells Love, which I guess is kind of halfway between a romantasy and a contemporary, because it feels like it should be a contemporary, except there's like a spell and a witch and a curse and an alternate universe. That rhymed. So I don't really know quite where that sits. We've got Unravel the Dusk, which is the second one to Spin the Dawn, which I said earlier. The Comeback, which honestly, I saw the cover art for this and I was like, thank you very much. Like, this queen is bossing in this hat. I wish I had the vibes to pull off a hat like this. I definitely do not, but we can all live and dream, right? We've got The Dixon Rule, which I'm really excited to read. If you watched my sports romance reading blog, you know I rated The Graham Effect 6 stars. Spoiler, sorry, but that was like truly astounding. And this is Shane's book, and Shane is honestly the best supporting character in The Graham Effect, so I'm really excited for his book. Enchanted to Meet You Small Favors by Erin A. Craig is, how do you really describe this? This is like a fantasy thriller, I think. And I got partway through. I think I finished like part 1, which was spring, or was it summer? So finished that and then on to autumn. And honestly, like, this is one of those books that just like really needs a lot of brain power, which is why I haven't really picked it back up. But I've left it on the TBR cart because it wasn't like a DNF, not like a full DNF anyway, but it was like a, I need some more brain power at a later date to really get back into this. And I feel like that brain power is starting to come back a little bit. So that's back on the TBR cart. We've got Ember Queen, which is book 3 in the Ash Princess series, like I said. We've got Leigh Bardugo, and then we've got another one. We've got Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo back here, as well as Baked with Love, which is a set of 3 like cutesy little romancy books. And I'm not going to even like try and get these out because honestly getting them back in and to the back is like a workout. And let me tell you, it's been a really long day and I'm really tired. So we've got Heroes of Olympus book 3 because this is part of my reread. I did have to put a post-it note over the front because I am literally so terrified of spiders. It freaks me out. I can't look at it, so I had to put post-its over the cover because I can't do it. Technically Yours and Falling Half of the Royal Guard, some little romances here. We've got Ithaca, a nice Greek retelling. Children of Blood and Bone, which is the first one to Virtue and Vengeance, which is over on the bookshelf. Defy the Night, another series by Bridget Kay. Book of Night by Holly Black. So I've just finished reading The Stolen Heir, which I actually really quite enjoyed. I previously read the Cruel Prince series, which at the time I rated it 4 and 3 stars. Thinking back on it, I'm like, oh my god, I really didn't enjoy it in the way that I think I kind of wanted to. And I do still feel like TikTok kind of lied to me a little bit with that series. But I've got the Book of Night, which I think is an adult book. I bought this after I read the Cruel Prince series, and I think that's why I've been kind of putting it off because I didn't like that. Whereas now I've read The Stolen Heir and really actually quite enjoyed that. I'm like, you might be moving up on the TBR priorities here a little bit. Oh, we've also got Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo back here as well. I had to stop reading that one because I was reading that at the same time as watching the first season of the show, and I was getting myself like so confused because I was like, literally the worst thing you could possibly do is try and read it at the same time as watching the TV show, because I didn't manage to get there before watching the show. So I really did not do myself any favors doing that, but it's on the cart. I'll get to it one day, I'm pretty sure. And then we've also got Fable and We Hunt the Flame. You guys didn't honestly think that I'd forgotten about my Kindle, did you? Absolutely not. But while it is just loading everything, check out this cute little embroidery I did. I finally finished it. I've been working on it for months and I literally have stabbed myself so many times. I am so uncoordinated, but I absolutely love it. I do have 2 more that I'm going to be doing through the year, so there are going to be more of these coming. Show some appreciation by putting a little mushroom emoji down in the comments below. I would really appreciate that. Moving on to the Kindle. I've got a couple of things just on Kindle Unlimited that I've got downloaded, which are going to be coming up for me sort of in the next couple of months to what I want to read. I feel like for July and August, I'm just like gonna give myself eternal free picks and just like really fully lean into the mood reading. Chaos could very well ensue. So we've got Tragic Bonds, which I think is the second to last book in the Bonds That Tie series, which I binged like books 1 to 4. I was really loving it, really loving it, and then I was like, oh my god, this is the exact same thing as just happened in the last book. Like, I'm so bored, and I kind of wonder a little bit if that's because I binged it. I have a feeling that that was exactly what happened, because I have a tendency to do things like that, right? I get so excited, so I'll binge it, and then I'm just like, I don't care about this anymore. But it just kind of had this like weird format where it was like the beginning was like super high action and the end was super high action and the middle was just like mundane life, and I was like, I just don't care for it. I have read Ice Planet Barbarian, finally. For so long I was like, I'm never gonna read that, I'm never gonna read that, and then I finally read it. So I have book 2 on here, which is Barbarian Alien, which I feel is kind of self-explanatory as a title. It was just a fun time, book 1, okay? I had a fun time. That's all I'm gonna say about it. That is coming up in my May-June wrap-up, but I had a fun time and I want to keep having a fun time, so I'm gonna carry on with the series. Then I've got a couple of like westerny cowboy kind of romances on here, which really within the last sort of few months has like kind of become a thing, mostly thanks to Elsie Silver, which I know hers aren't cowboy romances, but they're like small town, which is kind of like cowboy adjacent. Once you start reading small town, it's very easy to then read cowboy romances. And as a horse girl, my entire life, I've like loved reading books about cowboys, loved reading books about horses in pretty much any capacity. And there was a huge series of books called The Phantom Stallion, which I read when I was like a lot younger. Okay, we don't need to count how many years, don't make me sad like that. But that was all set out in the States, and they were all cowboys and cowgirls, and they were just really cool, and I like looked up to them so bad, and I was like, I want to be these people when I grow up. It's never gonna happen for me, but it's fine. So I feel like stepping into cowboy romances was not really a fast step for me. So we've got a couple of those on there. We've got Madison Fox's newest book, which is Forbidden Game. I read the first one earlier this year when it came out, and I was obsessed. It was absolutely stunning, instant 5-star. I really love the way she writes. I had such a good time. It's all to do with this trio of guys that are like into video games and they're streamers and stuff, which is something that I really love, watching video games, playing video games. I used to stream video games myself, so I'm like, it's something that is like so like connected to me that I'm like, of course I was gonna love it. There was like no real question about it. I am working my way through the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. Even though I've already started and I've already finished The Graham Effect and I've got the Dixon Rule to read soon, I haven't actually read everything that Elle Kennedy has written in the Off-Campus series, which is connected to Campus Diaries. So I am working my way through that slowly, but I also feel like it's not like so connected that it's like actually detrimental. So it's fine, we don't need to worry about that. We've got King of Sloth by Anna Huang, which I downloaded like basically instantly as soon as it came out. Literally have not got there. And then the fantasy that everyone is talking about, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is such a chunky book. I'm kind of glad it's on Kindle because I have noodle arms and I physically can't hold heavy books, okay? I am a weakling leafy bee. Everyone has been talking about this book and I really want to read it because everyone said that it's got like Fourth Wing vibes because it's like dragons, but then there's like a huge romance plot in it. Kind of like a really good combination of a couple of like really popular fantasy romance style books, and I'm like, that just sounds really good. And I swear I have not heard anyone say a bad thing about this book. Like everyone that I follow is like, this was amazing, I'm not going to give you spoilers because you have to experience it for yourself. And I'm like, I really want to now because you're making me like crave this. So that is everything on the Kindle. Well, it's not everything on the Kindle. That's just what I've currently got downloaded from Kindle Unlimited. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me. This has been a super quick like whistle-stop tour of the bookshelf, the cart, the Kindle, all of the chaos and all of the disorganization of where all my stuff is everywhere. Half the series are in paperbacks, half the series are in hardbacks. I have some bits on Kindle and I've started reading them in physical form, and my life is a load of chaos. My bookshelves are a load of chaos. I definitely need a new bookshelf because I am running out of space fast. So that is a situation that we're going to need to fix at some point soon. It's probably going to be a little while before I actually get around to fixing it, because let's be honest, do I do anything timely? Absolutely not. But thank you guys so much for watching, coming to hang out with me. Is there anything that I need on my shelves? Give me some recommendations down below that you feel fits my vibe. Let's chat about books, let's talk recommendations. You guys know I love all of that stuff. All of my socials are down below, as well as the link to my own book, From Feathers to Stars, which is available, and book 2 is coming this year, so do keep an eye out for that. I will be giving you guys more details when I know what is going on. We are currently working through edits of book 2, which is called The Vipers and Crowns, and I'm so excited. I really can't wait to release this to you guys. I think you guys are going to really love it. But if you didn't know that I published a book, you do now, so go and read it. Thank you. Subscribe, like, comment, do all the YouTube stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.